The Port of Los Angeles, often called the Gateway to America, stands as the nation's busiest and most vital seaport. For decades, it has been the lifeblood of U.S. trade, handling nearly 20% of all incoming cargo. Its sprawling docks and bustling terminals have long symbolized economic strength and global connectivity. But now, the port is facing a dramatic and unprecedented decline in cargo volumes, a downturn that threatens the livelihoods of 2.7 million Americans whose jobs depend on its operations. Once teeming with activity, the docks now sit eerily quiet, and the hum of commerce has faded. Imports are projected to plunge by a staggering 35% as of May 2025. This sharp drop is fueled by escalating geopolitical tensions, ongoing trade disputes, and rapidly shifting trade policies. The ripple effects are being felt not just in Los Angeles, but across the entire nation, as businesses struggle to adapt to the new reality. Executive Director Gene Soroka has sounded the alarm, warning that cargo arrivals have drastically declined. He points to ominous economic implications, including potential layoffs, reduced hours for workers, and a slowdown in related industries such as trucking, warehousing, and retail. Shipments from China, which once accounted for a significant portion of the port's traffic, have nearly ground to a halt. This sudden stoppage has sent shockwaves through manufacturing, technology, and retail sectors that rely on a steady flow of goods from overseas. The port's downturn is more than just a local issue. It's a wake-up call for the entire global supply chain. Disruptions here expose deep vulnerabilities, sparking urgent debates among policymakers, business leaders, and economists about the need for comprehensive policy reform and greater supply chain resilience. As cargo volumes continue to dwindle, concerns are mounting over the port's long-term viability. The livelihoods of thousands hang in the balance, and the port's critical role in the U.S. economy is under threat. Communities that depend on port activity are bracing for tough times ahead. The stakes have never been higher. Strategic interventions and bold leadership are urgently needed to prevent a crisis that could reverberate far beyond Los Angeles, impacting the nation's economic future and the stability of global trade itself. The Port of Los Angeles is more than just a gateway for goods entering and leaving the United States. It stands as a symbol of American ingenuity and resilience, serving as a vital link between the nation and the rest of the world. Every day, thousands of containers pass through its terminals, carrying everything from electronics and clothing to automobiles and agricultural products. The port's sprawling infrastructure is a testament to decades of investment and innovation, making it one of the most advanced and efficient ports in the world. It's the lifeblood of American trade. The port's operations never truly stop. Day and night, teams of workers, engineers, and logistics experts coordinate the movement of goods with remarkable precision. Their efforts ensure that store shelves across the country remain stocked, and that American-made products reach customers around the globe. Handling over 9 million TEUs, 20-foot equivalent units annually, the Port of Los Angeles supports a vast network of manufacturers, retailers, and logistics companies nationwide. These containers represent the pulse of commerce, connecting small businesses and large corporations alike to international markets. The port's reach extends far beyond the docks, touching nearly every sector of the U.S. economy. The port is a critical entry point for imports, especially from Asia, fueling the U.S. retail market and supporting exports for American industries. From electronics and machinery to fresh produce and raw materials, the goods that flow through this port shape the daily lives of millions of Americans. Its strategic location on the Pacific Rim makes it a linchpin in global supply chains. Its operations generate approximately 2.7 million jobs, not just in California but across the entire country. These jobs span a wide range of fields, from transportation and warehousing to finance, technology, and beyond. The port is a powerful engine for upward mobility, offering opportunities for skilled trades and high-tech careers alike. And billions in wages and tax revenues across the country. The economic ripple effect is enormous. Local businesses thrive, public services are funded, and communities grow stronger thanks to the port's success. Every container that moves through the port helps support schools, infrastructure, and essential services nationwide. The port's economic output underscores its indispensable role in national prosperity. It is not just a point of transit, but a dynamic hub where innovation, commerce, and community intersect. The port's continued growth and modernization are essential for maintaining America's competitive edge in the global marketplace. Now, with volumes dropping, its ability to drive growth is under threat. Fewer ships and containers mean fewer jobs, less revenue, and a ripple effect that can be felt throughout the economy. The slowdown is a stark warning of how quickly fortunes can change in a world that relies on seamless trade. The crisis highlights how global tensions, supply chain disruptions, and shifting trade policies can disrupt the intricate web of trade. Even a brief interruption can lead to shortages, price increases, and uncertainty for businesses and consumers alike. Stability in trade policy is more crucial than ever to preserve the port's central role. Policymakers, business leaders, and workers must collaborate to ensure that the port remains a beacon of reliability and growth, even in uncertain times. The port's struggles are a stark reminder of the interconnectedness and fragility of the global economy. What happens on these docks can send shockwaves around the world, affecting everything from the price of goods to the stability of entire industries. America's economic vitality depends on keeping this artery of commerce flowing. The future of the nation's prosperity is tied to the health of its ports, and the Port of Los Angeles stands at the very heart of that promise. The decline of the Port of Los Angeles is more than just a local story. It's a reflection of sweeping changes in global trade, set in motion by President Trump's aggressive tariff policies. In 2024, the administration imposed a staggering 145% tariff on Chinese goods, a move that sent shockwaves through international markets and upended long-standing trade relationships. These tariffs were designed to protect American industries and encourage domestic manufacturing, but the consequences have been far-reaching and complex. Alongside the steep tariffs on Chinese imports, a 10% levy was placed on most other foreign goods entering the United States. This broad approach to protectionism affected not only the flow of products from China, but also disrupted supply chains with Europe, Latin America, and beyond. Importers faced immediate cost increases, forcing many to reconsider their sourcing strategies and pass higher prices onto American consumers. As a result, trade volumes at major U.S. ports plummeted, with the Port of Los Angeles experiencing some of the sharpest declines. Businesses that once relied on steady shipments from overseas suddenly found themselves grappling with unpredictable costs and logistical headaches. The hardest hit were small and medium-sized enterprises, many of which lacked the resources to absorb such dramatic changes. By April 2025, the situation had reached a critical point. Shipments from China had nearly ceased, leaving docks eerily quiet and warehouses emptier than ever before. This sudden halt triggered a domino effect, rippling through the entire supply chain, from manufacturers and distributors to retailers and end consumers. In response, the government announced a 90-day tariff pause, hoping to provide some breathing room. But for many companies, this temporary relief was not enough. Businesses scrambled to overhaul their sourcing strategies, seeking new suppliers in countries like Vietnam, India, and Mexico. The transition, however, was anything but smooth, as new logistical challenges and unfamiliar regulations emerged. The impact of these tariffs extended far beyond the port itself. Across the nation, industries that depend on imported components, such as electronics, automotive, and retail, faced production delays and inventory shortages. American factories struggled to keep assembly lines running, while retailers coped with empty shelves and frustrated customers. While the tariffs were intended to protect American jobs and industries, they also exposed deep vulnerabilities in the nation's supply chain. Many workers found themselves idle as factories and warehouses slowed or shut down, and the broader economy felt the strain of rising costs and shrinking trade. Now the challenge facing policymakers and business leaders is clear: how to strike a balance between protecting American interests and ensuring the open, stable flow of global trade that modern economies depend on. The ripple effects of these tariffs will be felt for years to come, shaping the future of American commerce and its place in the world. The hardest hit are the port workers and truckers whose livelihoods depend on steady cargo flow. Trucking volumes have dropped to holiday lows, leaving drivers with fewer loads and shrinking paychecks. Many truckers now avoid Los Angeles, fearing empty return trips and lost income. Dock workers face reduced hours and job losses, especially among casual laborers. The downturn ripples through local economies, hurting businesses that rely on these workers' spending. The human cost is mounting, with families facing growing uncertainty. Targeted support is urgently needed to help these workers weather the storm. The crisis at the port threatens 2.7 million jobs across logistics, manufacturing, and retail. The loss would ripple through local economies, slashing consumer spending and risking economic contraction. This isn't just about port workers. Entire communities and industries are at stake. The urgency for policy action has never been greater. Protecting these jobs means finding a smarter balance in trade policy. The port's crisis is sending shockwaves through the economy, with major retailers warning of dwindling inventories and looming shortages. Consumers could soon face higher prices and empty shelves as supply chains strain to adapt. The risk of recession grows as freight demand drops and retail sales falter. The National Retail Federation predicts a sharp decline in import volumes, compounding economic headwinds. Urgent action is needed to stabilize trade and protect the economy from further shocks. The stakes for American households and businesses are enormous. The slowdown at Los Angeles is rippling to other ports: Long Beach, Seattle, Houston, and even New York. Disruptions at one port cascade across the supply chain, squeezing retailers, farmers, and manufacturers nationwide. Farmers face lost markets and intensifying global competition, while manufacturers scramble for raw materials. These ripple effects expose the vulnerabilities of a globalized economy. Policy interventions are urgently needed to stabilize trade flows and support at-risk sectors. America's economic future depends on resilience and adaptability. Experts warn the port crisis could halt domestic freight demand, empty store shelves, and tip the U.S. into recession by summer 2025. The National Retail Federation forecasts a 20% drop in import cargo for the year's second half. Retail giants like Walmart and Amazon are urging the White House to reconsider tariffs, fueling the crisis. Port Director Gene Soroka and economic leaders stress that without policy change, tough choices lie ahead for businesses and consumers. The message from experts is clear: decisive action is needed to avert deeper economic damage. The time to act is now. The Port of Los Angeles crisis is a national issue, threatening jobs, prices, and economic stability for millions. The potential loss of 2.7 million jobs and rising costs could hit families and communities across the country. The challenges facing workers, retailers, and manufacturers demand urgent, coordinated policy responses. America's resilience depends on stabilizing trade and supporting those most affected. The future of the economy hinges on how we respond to this crisis, together.